Welcome, everybody, to the True Believers Podcast here on the Fandom Podcast Network. We are back. It's been a bit, a lot of things going on. True Believers has morphed a little bit. We are now not only the show that covers Marvel and MCU, we cover DC, we cover everything that is happening in the comic book universe as far as television and movies. But you know what? Marvel brought us back because Born Again Daredevil Season 2 is here. We are excited and we got a lot to talk about with episode 1 being out now. And you know what, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. To talk about Daredevil Born Again, I need a team of defenders with me. And see what I did there. And first and foremost, I got to bring in my brother from another mother, the one and only co-founder of the Fandom Podcast Network, Mr. Kevin Reitzel.
What is up? Good to be back here on True Believers and excited for this second season of Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah, I am so excited for this. And I love this show, but the problem is I just need more of it than what I get. It's like every time it leaves me hanging, I'm like, no, I need more now. Give me more now. Feed me. But speaking of getting fed and speaking of somebody who knows his Marvel, I got to bring in my other defender here, the one and only Cat Deadpool Cedar.
What's up, everybody? If we're the defenders, I am not Iron Fist. Sorry. I'm
fine. I'll bite the bullet. I'll be Iron Fist.
Perfect.
I saw you more of a Jessica Jones type, hard-boiled Cat.
I mean, I don't think I fit the properties for that.
Well, you know, there's other things you can do to fill in for it, but it's all good. We are here to talk about Daredevil Born Again. This is a spoiler reaction show. So guess what, guys? When we get started talking about this episode of Daredevil Born Again, that's right, spoiler alert. If you haven't watched the episode yet, or, you know, maybe you need to give it a second watch to get the full feel for the episode, because these are pretty deep episodes for Daredevil. Go watch it, come back, join us. We'd love to have you as part of the conversation and get your thoughts on Daredevil Born Again. This is, of course, the True Believers podcast on the Fandom Podcast Network, where we always strive to feed your ears with wonderful podcasts. And you know what? Year 10, Kevin.
Celebrating our 10th anniversary of the Fandom Podcast Network.
Who would have thought our brains haven't melted completely yet?
I know, right?
And of course, if you want to know more about the Fandom Podcast Network, if you're watching on our YouTube channel, scan that QR code on your screen. It'll take you to our homepage for all of our audio podcasts at fpnet.podbean.com. You can look at our entire back catalog, listen to it. There's some fun stuff there. You want to know a little bit more about us? That's the way to do it. We always appreciate your support there. But guys, let's talk Daredevil Born Again. We love season 1. We've been waiting patiently for season 2. It even got delayed a couple more weeks, but we hung in there, and we are here to talk Daredevil Born Again season 2. But I want to ask you guys real quick before we dive into the full episode, how excited were you? What was your anticipation level for season 2? Kat, I'm going to start with you.
The minute they released it, I watched it, and I've already watched it twice. So if that doesn't tell you, I don't know what else will.
Yeah. I've been very excited about it. Kevin, what about you? What was your anticipation level for this season?
It kind of snuck up on me, to be honest with you, because I kind of forgot when it was coming because I was down in Australia. And so I had plenty of other distractions regarding entertainment and going to the movies with my wife. And
sure you did.
Yeah, and going DVD and Blu-ray shopping and going to the drive-in there for the first time in Australia, which is great. And then like all of a sudden I was like messaging with Kyle. He's like, yeah, blah, 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 Daredevil. I'm like, oh crap, that's coming up. And then I got excited. My wife and I watched the first episode.
Yeah, he bought a lot of physical media while he was in Australia.
Oh,
I did not. You lie. True.
If anybody would know Kevin bought a lot of stuff like that, that would be me. Or anyone who watches these podcasts, because they can see his collection behind him.
Oh, that's just a small part of it. His goal is to eventually catch up with our good friend, the Queen of Movie Food, Lacey Adderhold.
That ain't gonna happen, but he will do his best. That's for sure.
I gotta wait.
Now, if we go back like 40 years, he may be ahead of her because he had like one tape with like 4 movies on it that you could watch, and had like 400 of those.
Good times.
The days of VHS, but we'll talk about that on another show. Let's talk about Daredevil Born Again. I'm ready to get into this, guys. Let's do this thing. And you know what? If we're going to do it, we do things in phases around here at True Believers. And Kevin, we haven't used it in a while. Is the Tesseract powered up, ready to go?
Yeah, I actually have it. I had to contain it. I found a container for it. I took out my little creature in this, and I decided to put it in this. So, yeah, it's.
Wait, didn't Thor reside in that in the first Avengers film for a while?
It designed after Thor's prison, yes, but now it's Tesseract's prison.
Well, either way, Loki's involved, which is going to lead to tomfoolery. But let's get into phase one.
Was there a tomfoolery? Is there a real tomfoolery? Kind of curious about that. Anyway,
well, there's a Tom Hiddleston who does know a little bit about something with mischief. So
yes,
but let's get into it. Season 2, episode 1, The Northern Star. Kevin, would you be kind enough to give us a plot synopsis for this episode?
Be happy to. All right. Matt Murdock, as a vigilante Daredevil, infiltrates the Northern Star, a cargo ship connected to Mayor Wilson Fisk, which carries military-grade weapons as part of his Freeport operations. Daredevil's presence forces the crew to sink the ship, halting access to the port, and Murdock attaches a tracking device to one of the weapons crates to track it later. As news spreads, a CIA operative with the pseudonym Mr. Charles, who works for CIA Director Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, speaks to Fisk about the sinking, as they smuggled weapons were for the CIA. Meanwhile, Fisk's Anti-Vigilante Task Force, the AVTF, continues to arrest superheroes and masked vigilantes around the city. Heather Glenn interrogates Jack Duquesne, but her judgment is impaired by her trauma from her capture by the serial killer Muse. An AVTF unit targets Murdock's ally Cherry, forcing Murdock to intervene. Cherry experiences a heart attack, distracting Murdock for the AVTF to subdue and unmask Murdock. But he is narrowly escaped after Benjamin Dex Poindexter kills the agents.
There we go. Great read, Kevin. I know using
that's
your
bullseye, right? That's bullseye.
Heightened senses works every time. So, guys, let's talk about it. First reactions to this episode of Daredevil. Cap, I know how much you love this. Let's start with you on this.
Can we start with the end and go backwards?
Sure.
Holy crap, dude! Bullseye, left field would not have. I would have guessed that would have been.
Is it left field because he helped Murdock?
Yeah, they normally hate each other.
Yeah,
90% of the time. There was a few times where they work together for the greater good. Harry Potter reference, but very infrequently. I would have thought at first it was going to be the Punisher, but
yeah,
then I realized he might not be in this episode because he's too busy hanging out with Spider-Man right now. But I love the opening fight scene. I love the closing fight scene, and then the middle stuff was just good plot build, starting to get us into where we're going. And as I said several times last year for season 1, please bring back Muse. And then we saw him in some flashbacks, so I'm hoping he'll come back this year too, somewhere. I mean,
he's dead right now, though. Currently,
he shouldn't be dead because he's not easy to kill. But we'll see. Otherwise, loved it. It was such a good show. Great build up. Wasn't as building up as like the first episode of season 1 when they were in a cafe. That I was hoping for a scene like that was like a really gritty, like, heat kind of build up. But they're definitely doing a good job, and I look forward to every episode from here till the end.
Kevin, what about you? What are your thoughts?
I was happy for the little, what happens last season wrap up, because there are some things I couldn't remember from it. But I quickly, got into what was happening, and I really enjoyed Daredevil's look in this as well, which we'll discuss a little bit later. But I'm trying to. I found fascinating more though was just the side of Wilson Fisk's and his AVTF unit, which is brutal, and it kind of reminds me of something else that's happening in the country right now, So,
and that's been discussed on the internet.
That kind of hit home there a little bit, and so I'm kind of curious to see where that's going to go. And I did miss some of the references that we're going to be discussing coming up, so I'll have some questions about that. But I was just brought back to really good Marvel television, violent too as well, and edgy. And I like what the direction the show has taken.
The great thing about Daredevil, and it's been like this since it was on Netflix, it pulls you in. Every season pulls you in with that first episode, and this episode does it so well. We get great fight scenes. This show is some of the best fight scenes on television, in my opinion. You've got great intrigue going on, and what I love about what this series has done, especially since Born Again, is how it takes things and makes you apply them to things that are happening in our world, but also just seeing how the different dynamics are playing out, because there's a lot of pieces on the chessboard, whether it's the Kingpin, whether it's Daredevil, what's going on with Swordsman and his interrogations. You've got the connections that they hint about, which we'll talk about later. Everybody's playing chess. Nobody's playing checkers here. And it's get very intense very quickly, I think. And I am so excited to see what they do with this. And I'm so excited that we're going to be covering it here.
Kat, you had your hand up. You wanted to say something.
Yeah, I wanted to add, I was watching a video with Charlie Cox, and he was talking about this season. It's supposed to be darker and a lot more violent this whole season. So I was going to add that to what you were saying about the combat and things, but hopefully that'll be what it is. I'd like to see a little more action, because they do such an amazing job with their action scenes in this show. But
they do.
That was it.
Well, guys, that covers our initial thoughts on the episode. But let's talk about the absolutely amazing cast of Daredevil Born Again. Kevin, I think this might be one of the most perfectly cast shows on television.
Yeah, it's definitely got a great cast, and I feel like the cast, even some of the newer editions, are really finding their characters and the feel for them, And I'm really digging Michael Gandolfini as Daniel Blakes, kind of like, one of the underservants of Wilson Fisk, James Gandolfini's son. I'm kind of digging seeing him on the screen.
Yeah, he has been great. He's a little goofy, a little silly, but it's going to be very interesting how that is going to play out with him, because he just feels like one of those characters that's going to make the final screw up, and it's going to be ugly for him when it happens. I got to talk about the newest cast member, though. Matthew Lillard, who is on a tour right now to shut somebody up, and I'll just leave it at that. He was great in this episode. I loved how he carried himself, and how he played off D'Onofrio was absolutely wonderful. And
can I ask about him real quick?
Yeah.
Who is he supposed to be? Is he someone from the universe that's been depicted in comics or anything?
Kat? You have?
I
don't think he has.
I've not seen him. Fisk has dealt with so many people that
he's Mr. Charles.
Different things. So the name is not familiar to me, and he could just be another character that they've used.
He's playing this. He's playing the CIA contact. Am I remembering that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later on.
Okay.
In the episode, too, Kevin. But what I like about it, and because it's one of the things I really love about Matthew Lillard, he's a bit of a chameleon. He can play that smarmy. He can play that dead serious. Seeing him, though, in this particular, how he's handling this character out of the gate up against D'Onofrio's Kingpin, where he's just testing him, and you see and D'Onofrio is so good with his facial expressions and body language. It was such a great scene. You talked about the cafe scene. I think that was kind of the cafe scene of this episode, Kat.
No doubt. It wasn't his intent or his build up, but it definitely was the scene that sort of drew you in to get you the point to where you want to be with the plot and what's going on with it.
It feels like Mr. Charles from the get-go, which is what I enjoyed from Lillard's performance here. QT, pay attention. But I feel like he's someone not to be messed with, because even without, normally Fisk will not tell you that you're pissing him off, but he did just that to Mr. Charles. I don't appreciate your grandstanding in front of me or something like that. Where in normal cases, meaning that he knows that he's powerful and he has to deal with them. Or if with anyone else that wasn't him, he'd probably just be quiet and kill him off screen or kill him somewhere else or do something like that. It's not public.
Well, and I think you saw that too with how quick the lieutenant governor changed his tune as soon as he showed up.
Yeah.
So, what about you, Kat? Anybody in the cast that really highlighted for you for this first episode?
You get me with people, and I'm never I don't have the memory to remember who people are except for the main people. But I mean, he did an amazing job, and I loved Matthew, his role against the Kingpin. And I believe, to answer Kevin's query, that the Kingpin mentioned that, you're pissing me off, letting him know that, hey, you may be CIA, but it's not going to stop me. So that's how Kingpin sort of rolls sometimes. But yeah, I mean, people, the names elude me, but I loved everyone's role. Even his partner in the Murdock and the cop that he deals with to help. Ex-cop that he deals with to help him out. Everyone's roles are just
that's Cherry, right?
Spot on.
Yeah, Cherry.
Yeah, I like him too. It was good to see him back.
Yeah, I gotta say too, it was very nice to see Deborah Ann Woll back in a big role as Karen Page. She is such an asset to this little section of the Marvel universe. So I was very happy to see that. Well, that's going to wrap up what we talk about the cast. It is time to move on into phase 2. We got a little Marvel trivia and some Easter eggs to talk about. Okay, guys, we are here talking about Daredevil Born Again, episode 1 of season 2, The Northern Star. And we, of course, always have a little Marvel trivia to throw at you. Kevin, you want to help me out with some of this?
Yeah, sure. I'll hit the first one here for you. Journalist Bibi Eric wants to bring Mayor Fisk down for murdering her uncle, a horrific event that happened in Netflix's Daredevil season 1. Karen Page tells Bibi that Ben died because of her, and she doesn't want to see her get hurt too. She warned Bibi to be careful, and she's secretly working with Page as one of Karen's closest sources to Mayor Fisk's administration. Likewise, do we see a brief image of Ben Urich in the show itself?
And the reason why I picked this trivia first, because there's something I want to just discuss with both of you real quick. Usually we try to get comic-related trivia too, but the great thing that I find so fascinating with this version of Daredevil is how much trivia they're pulling from the original Netflix series and how they're incorporating it into this series. And I was wondering what your guys' thoughts were on that. Kevin, I see you nodding your head.
Yeah, this is huge because, you kind of felt that when I say they, I meant Marvel/Disney was trying to, push themselves away from anything that was done via the next Netflix series. When the Netflix series did such a great job building that universe in that era with those characters. And it was nice to see, kind of like what they did with Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., whatever. And this is great because I think that as of lately that they're recognizing those moments and those scenes. There's always the big funny thing that was happening when Avengers Infinity War and all the Avengers were happening. There's that funny scene from the Netflix series when they all get together and they're all waiting for something to happen, and but they're just kind of like in their own little area of New York. But I love the fact that they're giving love to that and they haven't scraped it underneath the carpet, and that they're acknowledging those events and all those wonderful performances and stories.
Yeah. Kat, what about you? What do you think about the fact that they're referencing so much from the Netflix show for this?
I think they have to. They have to know that they had a great beginning on the Netflix show. They have to continue using their sources that they have on those shows. And like we said last year, we talked about the same thing. And it's like, they're doing an amazing job. They're not overwhelming us, but they are bringing back stuff that we need to know. Like, oh, that person was this, or this person was that, or, oh, he did this to her, or she did this to him. They're doing an amazing job. They need to keep it up. Whoever is their resource manager that references these things, spot on. Give that person a raise and let them keep doing what he or she is doing, because they are doing an amazing job and they need to keep it that way. They can't just change up what they're doing all of a sudden. Keep doing what they're doing, because it's making people just want to sort of drag in and possibly if they're watching the podcast or listening to the podcast, go, wait, that happened in season 1 of the. Let me go watch that again, and then watch it again and again and again.
Well, guys, we have some other trivia here too, because we call it Red Kitchen code name. While messaging with Cherry, we see Matt's code name on the former NYPD's detective's phone is Red Kitchen, making their contact and planned meetups seem like dinner reservations. The code name is a pretty cool dual reference to both Murdock's traditional red Daredevil costume and Hell's Kitchen, the original New York borough where he first started his vigilante career in the MCU, and clashes with Wilson Fisk's Kingpin. Kat, I know you had to pick up on this right away as soon as you saw it on the phone.
Oh yeah, as soon as I saw it, I'm like going, oh, that's just too awesome. Giving him his old props to his red costume in Hell's Kitchen, love it. So again, the person who's doing the resourcing to learn these little tricks from either comics, movies, shows, keep it up, dude. Whoever's doing that does an amazing job. I love these.
How many code names do you use in text, Kevin?
Not a lot, and this one ran over my head and is still going over my head. I understand he has a different uniform from that to this, but I don't understand the Red Kitchen thing.
So red is his original color for his uniform, which is red.
Right.
And he lives in Hell's Kitchen.
Right.
So red meaning, because a lot of people in the movie, they call him Red. They don't just call him Daredevil or they call him Devil. But red is his color, so red is his reference to red being Daredevil's color and living in Hell's Kitchen.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yep. Well, finally, we got a moment we haven't really had in Daredevil as of yet with the costumes, and we got it with this black costume, which is, of course, a throwback to some of the comics. But it's been 13 years since the first Daredevil season on Netflix, which blows my mind. However, only now with Daredevil Born Again Season 2 that we finally have a Daredevil costume in the MCU with the classic double locking D's logo on the chest from the original comics. A major milestone has finally been achieved. Likewise, the red logo looks incredibly good with Daredevil's new black suit, which looks to be the original red suit spray painted over. This was sharp, and Kat, I lost my mind that they did this and loved it.
Oh, absolutely. This is his. I'm going dark. I'm changing my suit to the black suit, and yet they're still keeping the red nostalgia on it. I loved it. I mean, if I'm going to get a cosplay from Daredevil, this is the suit I'm going to get because this is just beautiful. I loved it. Every second, every inch. The D's, delish.
Kevin, what did you think of this new look for Daredevil?
Oh, it looks great. It's fantastic. I love this. But clarify something for me, guys. So I've seen this double, D over D logo on like comic book covers and stuff like that. But I've only seen it in like a dark red, like a burgundy or something like that. I've never seen it on a black out, like the red D or whatever it is on the black outfit. When was the black outfit thing? This is kind of new for me. Or is it just a dark red and it looks black because of the lighting?
The suit is black. He's worn a couple different versions of a black suit over the years. One kind of had a weird armor to it as well.
When you say over the years, do you mean the TV series or the comics?
The comics. Okay.
The comics.
This was a look he had after one of the times when he was really left in bad shape, and his personality really went to a dark place, and he started wearing a version of this kind of black costume. They've done a little bit of alteration to it. It didn't have the bright red DD like it has, but the fact that they're using this classic Daredevil logo that was been on his uniform for years, and we've never actually seen it in the MCU. Mm-hmm. I think it was the right timing for it, considering the storyline, and I think it's a great mix of pulling some stuff from the comics as well as giving the fans a classic Daredevil moment, and I think they did a beautiful job with it, and the costume was amazing.
Gotcha.
Well, that's it for the trivia, but we also have a few Easter eggs, and we've got some fun stuff here. Kevin, you want to take this first one?
Yeah, the first one here is quote, "Give her a call, Jessica Jones." Matt talks with Karen about the sinking of the Northern Star in Mayor Fisk's free port known as Red Hook, and that the ship is full of high-grade weapons and military hardware. Naturally, Murdock wants to know who Mayor Fisk is working with and who the weapons were meant for. So he tells Karen to, quote, "give her a call." Karen Page's connection is more than likely Jessica Jones, played by Kristen Ritter, who we know will be making an appearance at some point in the series. Given her history as a private investigator, she's bound to be a major help to Daredevil's resistance efforts, not to mention her impressive superpowers.
This is one of the things that got me excited for Daredevil season 2 is the return of Kristen Ritter as Jessica Jones. I don't know when she's going to pop up. I'm going to assume it's sooner than later, but even to start getting references for that, I cannot wait for this to happen in this series. I am still have a belief that there might be another member of the Defenders we could see by the end of this, as that they are keeping very under wraps. It'll be interesting seeing how that plays out. But Kat, I know you're excited for some Jessica Jones.
Oh, Jessica Jones, absolutely. I'm hoping that they bring Luke Cage in too, for a little more help, and that would make a lot of sense because Luke Cage and Jessica Jones have great history together, in the comics at least. So that would be cool. I mean, Danny Rand, but of course, I would love to see something else even more important. But I doubt they would even think about incorporating him. But bring me Moon Knight.
You said they have some chemistry. Yeah, didn't they like bone?
Oh, yes, they have a kid together.
They bone,
married.
Right?
Are they still married?
Luke Cage and Jessica, right?
Yeah.
In the comics, they have a kid together. So
yeah, they still married.
I didn't know that. Okay, cool. Good for that.
They got very physical in that first season of Jessica Jones.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Nice.
I think they're still married in the comics, and they do have a kid.
Yeah. I will throw this out here for those of you who might be listen to the Michael Rosenbaum podcast, Inside of You. He had the actor who played Luke Cage, and forgive me, I'm blanking on his name right in front at the moment, but the question came up about returning as Luke Cage, and all he said was, "Yeah, I've been talking to Marvel lately." So
that's good.
There is hope.
That's Mike Coulter, correct?
Yeah, Mike Coulter, who just got to throw this out. If you haven't watched the show he did for CBS called Evil, that is a great show. Check that out if you want some more Mike Coulter in your life.
Bring back some Luke Cage. I liked him.
Next up, though, guys, and this is where things get interesting. Thunderbolts director Dee Fontaine, of course, Valentina Dee Fontaine, shortly after Matthew Lillard's new MCU character walks into Mayor Fisk's office, Mr. Charles reveals that he's from Langley, CIA. Likewise, there's even a phone call from none other than CIA director and OEX Group CEO Valentina Allegra Dee Fontaine, who apparently vouches for Charles' involvement accessed on the other line. Of course, the last time we saw her, having been featured in several past MCU shows and movies, but most importantly, Thunderbolts, aka New Avengers, Val clearly has a lot of pull with the U.S. government. Additionally, Val being the one behind Mr. Charles makes perfect sense, especially if they're both connected to the Northern Stars cargo, and it's possible the use in government darker off-book operations. I love this connection. I think it's great. I think it's a great way to incorporate some things that are happening in the MCU without pulling it directly into Daredevil. And yeah, this is the cherry on the Mr. Charles character to make you go, okay, this is a serious player for the rest of season 2, Kevin.
This went over my head. I did not either, because I only watched this once, and so this went over my head, or I didn't notice it. But I'm glad that it's there and it's worth rewatching because of that.
Kat, what about you? Are you loving that they're doing this?
She's an amazing Daredevil antagonist. She's been in his comics a few times. She's been in Spider-Man comics a few times. The Avengers many times. Her character is just spot on. You know, and the actress who's Julia
Louis-Dreyfus.
It is Julia.
Of course.
Yeah, she's doing an amazing job, and and she was great in Thunderbolts, and she's good in this, and I just look forward to seeing more of her being a capital B with an itch.
Well, Kevin, help me out with this next one, because could we possibly be seeing the return of one of our favorite characters from the original Defenders group series returning to Daredevil?
Yeah, I got questions for you guys about this. A favor at Metro General, Night Nurse. In the same scene of Daredevil Born Again Season 2's potential Jessica Jones reference, Karen asked Matt if she needs to call a favor for Metro General to get him some stitches. Similarly, this is more than likely reference to Rosario Dawson's Claire Temple, a.k.a. Night Nurse. In the Netflix era of Marvel shows, Claire worked at Metro General during the day while helping patch up various vigilantes during her off hours. Seeing as how she made multiple appearances across the various Netflix Defender shows, a future appearance in Daredevil Born Again Season 2 would make a perfect sense, especially given Dawson's ongoing history with Disney, playing live-action Ahsoka Tano in the Star Wars galaxy. It's also fun to point out that both Dr. Stephen Strange and Christine Palmer worked at Metro General Hospital in the MCU as well. So I got a question. This is all, hey, she's the night nurse, blah, 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 blah. But my question, I got a two-part question here. Number one, was there an actual comic strip called The Night Nurse, or did the other superheroes that needed to be mended refer to her as such?
So as far as the Night Nurse goes, as far as the Night Nurse goes, she never had like her own comic or anything, but she was a character in the Marvel universe who did help vigilantes who were injured and things of that nature. She appeared in Spider-Man. She's appeared in a lot of different.
Who called her the Night Nurse? Was it fans, or was she referred to it as Night Nurse in writing in the comics?
She was referred to as Night Nurse in writing as the comics. That's how she was first introduced, as the Night Nurse.
Did she refer to it herself as Night Nurse?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. So, do you think then we'll get Rosario's character actually saying, "Hi, welcome to the Night Nurse," or something like that, or yes, I am your Night Nurse?
She keeps it on the DL.
Gotcha. Okay.
She helps Daredevil, Spider-Man, Moon Knight, what they call the street level heroes,
right.
Iron Fist. So if they get injured, they know they can go see her because she will respect their identities if she knows them, and or respect their secret identities while trying to help them. All because of Daredevil, really, in the comics, because that was her first superhero patient.
And I can say there has been no official confirmation of whether Rosa will be in this season or not, but I would love to see her, even if it's just for one episode, even a short cameo or something.
Just to kind of keep the continuity going,
Yeah. So I would love to see that.
It would suck to have to recast her, because I think that she would have time just to do a one episode appearance,
And she's got time to take off the Ahsoka makeup. I'm just saying. Well, guys, let's transfer into our next phase and talk some plot points of this episode. Okay, as we continue our discussion of Daredevil Born Again Season 2, Episode 1, The Northern Star, let's get into some plot points. And guys, the first one I want to discuss is the war is on via several fronts. Daredevil Born Again Season 2 sees just how much the war in New York between Mayor Fisk and the Masks is being waged. And it's not just on the street level, on the ground, people versus people. It's to the viral level, and now the government getting involved. Hello again, Matthew Lillard. How interesting are you guys finding it that they are showing this war being played out on these multiple fronts? Because I think it's one of the best things I saw in this episode was how they were playing this out, Kevin.
Yeah, the AVTF is nasty and it's scary, and it makes a great side plot with these vigilantes, anti-vigilante task force that's happening here. But Kyle, go back to the other picture here where we're showing what's his name? This guy here. What's his name?
I'm blanking on it right now, but the key thing there is what's on his vest.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to bring it up, but I want to make the reference to the picture here. It is Hamish Allen Headley as Powell. Okay. So if I remember the last season, they wanted to kind of have a moniker to kind of, a symbol that shows what they're talking about, because one of the most biggest vigilantes of all time is the Punisher. So I find it funny that they've chosen his symbol. And wasn't that a point of contention last season, if I remember correctly?
They actually played out a little bit of a storyline that played out here in real life, where there were police officers using the Punisher symbol on their gear. And it was played up on with some of the bad cops in season 1 who Frank didn't really appreciate them using his logo, and he kind of solved the problem there. But I think this is a thing to where they are trying to get at the Punisher, play the mind games with the Punisher. We saw at the end of season 1, Frank does escape, and we know now too that there will be a Punisher special 4 days after the final episode of Daredevil Born Again is aired. And so
just like a 2-hour movie or something?
Yeah, 90 minutes to 2 hours, something along those lines. So I think that's going to be very interesting. Kat, we talked about this last season. This is just more mental games by Fisk.
Absolutely. But I think the reason why they're using the Punisher logo is because everyone knows that he is against, I don't want to say criminals, but against corruption and, bad people. And this task force is supposed to be against corruption and bad people, even though they are working for the worst of the worst. So I think it's sort of, again, like I said, it's a mind game for Frank, but it's intriguing for us to see where it goes.
Yeah. The other big aspect of this is how they're playing up the virtual side with Fisk and his propaganda. But you also have BB Urich putting out these videos, Kevin, on social media and things of that nature. I love how they're playing the mental game through different versions of media and social media.
Yeah, but that can bite you in the butt, so you got to be careful about that. But it does help you get the word out and gain sympathy for your cause if that's what you're doing. But at the same time, you're also pissing people off, which makes for an interesting dynamic when it comes to both people on different sides of the table, so to speak.
I agree. I think this is going to be interesting how this plays out. Kat, what do you think about this? Because I really, especially with Fisk, playing kind of an older school dynamic, but playing out and getting frustrated with these virtual social media things that BB is doing. But of course, he doesn't realize it's BB.
At first, I thought it was just a joke. I was like, what the hell am I watching? I didn't realize what it was in the beginning. And then when I watched it again, I'm like, oh, okay. This is her way of sort of coming back at Fisk from a satirical point of view as opposed to a really serious point of view. So she needs to be careful, though, because if Fisk finds out who it is, well, that'll be 2 Urichs down.
Well, I think that's going to be one of the B plots that's going to play through the season with her relationship with Michael Gandolfini's character.
Absolutely.
So, well, the next plot point I want to get to, guys, and I find this one absolutely fascinating, is what they're doing with Jack Duquesne, aka the Swordsman. This is an interesting character because we've seen a little bit of him. It's been hinted at. We saw some of it in Hawkeye with him, and now him being a part of this Daredevil series, which I really wasn't expecting, but I'm finding it very intriguing of how they're handling it, especially with his relationship with Heather Glenn and her interrogating him, what he's being put through, but also how he's seeing what's happening with Heather Glenn, and even though he doesn't realize she's seeing Muse, but he knows something's off there. And the mind games they were playing with each other in this sit-down interrogation, Kevin, were phenomenal.
I'm going to push back on this whole Jack Duquesne Swordsman thing. I got to be honest with you. I didn't really remember anything much, although we all knew who he was because we were told who he was. When I mean for those of us that didn't really know his character at all, and from you guys who do know the character from the comics and such, and from social media and stuff like that. I love the actor Tony Dalton, but I'm sorry, I haven't seen Jack from this guy. Ha! See what I did there?
That's funny.
I haven't really seen why he's good at what he does. I don't remember much. I mean, he did a little bit of here, I think, in Hawkeye, but I haven't really seen him be this so-called really cool vigilante that should be captured and interrogated. So I gotta tell you, if I can't remember anything, that means they're not doing a good job showcasing this character, what he's supposed to be doing. It's all about what other people are saying, and I haven't seen Jack.
First off, don't make fun of the guy who trained Hawkeye.
I would like to see that. How about we see that? We don't see that. So those
it would be great to see it in the Hawkeye show.
We don't know how. Yeah, but we don't know how good he is.
Right? No, we don't, because they haven't shown anything. They showed a little bit of fighting.
That lies the problem. I felt like I think they've actually failed this character, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it showed a little bit of fighting in the Hawkeye show, but I have a feeling they're going to use him better this season. I'm hoping that they actually put him in his costume.
They can't do that if he's prisoner. I mean,
well, he's not going to be a prisoner long. He's like Bullseye. He always gets away.
And keep in mind, I love Tony Dalton's portrayal of the non-fighting version of Jack Duquesne. I just think he's a great character, but I want to see him in action because
I want to see him in his original costume with the sword helping Daredevil.
I have no idea what that looks like.
we can show you
a picture. What I am hoping for and what I'm
hold on, Kyle, am I out of no,
I can understand I can definitely understand your point of view.
I mean, he's got a cool mustache, but I mean, that doesn't tell me jack.
But what I think is interesting, what I'm fascinated by this is the mental aspect of it right now. With here, you've got the swordsman who is a pretty sharp guy and plays a little bit of a doofus sometimes when he's really not, and that we've seen that in the Hawkeye show and some of his other appearances. And the fact that we've got Heather Glenn going through her mental thing, and I think this is going to be a real playoff of these two in each other. And I'm feeling confident that before this season is out, we're going to see just how badass the swordsman is as a fighter. I think we are going to.
Don't say that because it's not going to happen.
Kevin's trying to jinx me, guys. Jeez.
I'm just saying they've dropped the ball with this character, and we shouldn't have to. Okay, whatever. Now you're showing the picture of what he should look like. You're showing a picture of what he looks like in the comics. That's great. But
that's what I was saying. I hope
you shouldn't have to go through Hawkeye and 2 full seasons of this show and not get what we should be getting from this guy. You know?
No. We still see how it plays.
I just have a feeling he's going to die before we get that chance. It sucks.
We'll see. But this was, I think, the most pivotal plot point in the episode, and it was the finale. After, first of all, an amazing fight scene. This fight scene in Cherry's apartment was amazing. We see Daredevil get unmasked, but then the guys who unmasked him fall quickly, and we see this. You're welcome with a bullseye on it. Now, Mr. Bevel, who plays Bullseye, was one of the biggest surprises and most pleasant surprises of season 1 of Daredevil. He was phenomenal in it. I am looking forward to how they're going to play up Bullseye for season 2 of this, because if you read the comics, you have to understand Bullseye is basically batshit crazy. You don't know which way he's going to go.
Remind me what happened. Was he the one that killed Foggy?
Yes, he was the one who killed Foggy.
Has that been confirmed? Or did someone pretend, or did someone kill him and then
that's been confirmed. He killed Foggy.
Okay. So the big question is, why is he helping Daredevil right now?
Well, it's because he got burned and the Kingpin tried to take him out. And if you remember in the end of season 1, Bullseye tried to take out the Kingpin and Matt Murdock stepped between the bullet and the Kingpin.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
So this is one of those times, and they've had this happen with Daredevil and Bullseye in the comics before, where it was like the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And that's where I think they're kind of playing this up on. But Bullseye is a wild card in so many ways. And if you're going to insert him like this is going to make this season dynamite.
This also, you could say this way too, Kyle. The enemy that killed my friend is now the enemy of my enemy.
I don't have the brain power. That cat. I need your input on this because I know you love Bullseye too.
Oh, I loved it. Like I said, when I first saw it, I thought it was Punisher because you hear the guns and you hear the shooting, and then you see the knife, and you're like, "Holy effing bleep bombs!" Bullseye. Oh, give me more now. And please give me him in his suit with the black and white suit. Please, yeah. Please.
It's an added dimension to this season I wasn't necessarily expecting.
No.
And I am so glad that we were going to get it. And I Wilson Bethel, like I said, as Bullseye last season, I think he stole several moments in Daredevil Born Again season 1, and he could steal a lot more in this season. And it's going to be so interesting to see how this is going to play out.
I agree 100%.
So with that, guys, it's time to get into our final phase. Okay, guys, we talked about all of our thoughts on the plot, the characters, our thoughts on the episode. It's time to wrap things up here on True Believers with our final phase and get our final thoughts on this episode of Daredevil, and maybe even a little speculation for what might lie ahead in season 2 of Born Again. Kat, I want to start with you on this because I know how much you love Daredevil. I know how much you love this series, and I'm really curious to see what your thoughts are after after this first episode of how you enjoyed it and what you think might have ahead.
Man, it's such a great start. I mean, I usually need a few episodes to sort of think what's going to happen in episode X, Y, Z. I don't really have anything for that, honestly, but I'm hoping to see more of Fisk and Lillard talking, more espionage and sort of sneak skullduggery going on with those two and how it's going to affect the city. I hope to see Jessica Jones in season 2, but episode 2, but I have a feeling she's going to be episode 3, usually when they bring in like the guest star, usually. Got to bring in Bullseye, bring him back. He needs to be in there. But all in all, I look forward to seeing more going on with the corrupt cops and, Wilson Fisk still sending out his men to try to get rid of Daredevil and other masked vigilantes, which of course, they have not mentioned any of them by name yet, except for White Tiger. But come on, give us some more. It was so good. I'll have a better answer for you probably next week for episode 2, because then we have a little more juice to sort of drain and learn and see. But right now, I'm hoping for just as much enjoyment and excitement in this episode as next week, which I'm pretty sure is going to happen.
Now, Kevin, when you're not running illegal guns through boats, I'm just curious, what were your final thoughts here on this episode of Daredevil, and what do you think we might see ahead?
So what's interesting is, how in previous, either Marvel episodes or some Star Wars episodes and stuff like that, of different variety of shows where they would often show the first 2 or maybe 3 episodes to get stuff started, because the first episode usually doesn't quite carry it itself, and it needs a crutch, so they'll throw in the second episode, and you watch them back to back, and it feels like more of a full episode, or you kind of get a better idea of what's going on. What I like about this episode is it gets you going from the beginning, and you don't need a second episode to drop after it. Like Kat made a great observation about the skullduggery that we're getting. I love that term. I love it when people say that, Kat. So well done. But there's a lot of crap going on. A lot of corruption. And there's a lot of facets to it as well, which makes it even more interesting. And flushing out of who and where Daredevil or Matt Murdock is himself. He's in hiding, and even Karen's in hiding, and she's having to go, with a wig and stuff like that. I love little aspects of that, and I felt like this episode delivered that way. It set the table perfectly, didn't leave a lot of questions to where you're wondering, like, what people are up to or what their directions are. You kind of know where everyone's at right now. You just don't know how far they're going to go, or who's going to help who yet. There's just still a lot, or who's going to show up to help who. We've got a little bit of tease, especially at the end there.
Bullseye.
So, what's that?
Bullseye.
Yeah, exactly. So, how's, hey, I saved your life, but I killed your best friend. Sorry, but thank you for saving me, or no, not thank you for saving me, but thank you for saving the guy I was trying to kill. So maybe I'm mad at you. So that's an interesting dichotomy there as well. I want to see the swordsman Jack Duquesne. I want to see him really shine in this series. Give me a good episode where he becomes the swordmaster or whatever his name is, because I haven't seen it yet and I want to see it.
The swordsman.
Yeah. Well, first of all, again, I said it earlier in the episode. The great thing I've always loved about the Daredevil series is the first episode is so good at bringing you back into this world, and it's been that way every season. And it's one of the great things I love about Daredevil. The other thing there's a couple of things I consider when I think about what we could see in this season of Born Again. Unlike most Disney Plus shows, we know we're getting season 3. So we know this is.
Are we? I didn't know that.
It is. They're filming it now.
I'm glad you said that, because I was going to ask that question next.
And so they have a lot of room to carry out the storyline. But you guys have been talking about release schedules and everything like that. If you look at the release schedule, look at next week, because 2 episodes of Daredevil Born Again are dropping this coming Tuesday, which tells me we are seeing Jessica Jones.
Yay.
Why they are dropping 2 episodes. I think that is why they are doing things. And I think the other reason they're dropping 2 episodes, and I mentioned this a little earlier, 4 days after the final episode of Daredevil Born Again hits, the Punisher one-shot special on Disney Plus comes out. It's going to have between a 90-minute to 2-hour runtime.
Can't wait.
And they're getting all this out because they want to. I have a feeling that what is going to happen in the Punisher special could set up some of the events of the upcoming Spider-Man movie in July. And Marvel has a plan here. It's going to be interesting to see how it's executed. I still have a feeling we're going to see a return of a Defender before that we don't know about yet. Whether it's Iron Fist, whether it's Luke Cage, I don't know. There's some interesting things on social media. The actor who played Iron Fist is in New York right now doing some hardcore training. And he's been training since the end of Iron Fist season 2, because even he has felt like he wants a chance at kind of redeeming himself as that character.
I just want to give a shout out to, if you can, on social media, when Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio, aka Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk, have been doing some press junkets together, and they've both grown out their beards, which is kind of cool. But they've been fun to watch together, especially when they like learn about their stuff that they like, and they've been kind of questioning each other. I forgot what show I was watching or interview I was watching, but the press junkets that they're doing are very entertaining, and you can tell they're friends, and they've really enjoyed working, even though their characters hate each other. They really love each other. I think I love it when you see a cast just letting loose and having fun with each other and enjoying the process.
Well, I mean, how can anybody hate Charlie Cox? I've met him at Dragon Con. He is one of the nicest human beings on the planet.
Makes me want to watch Stardust again.
So, well, with that, guys, it's time to wrap up this episode of True Believers. My thanks to Kevin and Kat for joining us to talk Daredevil Born Again. And of course, you guys will be with us through the whole season of Daredevil Born Again and the Punisher one shot. It's an exciting time. I'm so glad we're back in this world. This is one of my favorite aspects of the MCU, even though some people will still say to this day, well, it is. At this point, it has been incorporated. It's part of the MCU, and I just love it. And I love it for so many reasons, and it's so well done. And I can't wait to dive more into season 2 of Daredevil Born Again. You, of course, are watching on our YouTube channel, True Believers, the Marvel and MCU podcast. But again, we've morphed. We are covering everything that's happening with DC.
All superheroes.
Everything superheroes. Because I'm telling you what, this fall, we are going to be talking about Lanterns. I cannot wait for Lanterns on HBO. That's going to be a lot. You got Kyle Chandler. That brings me in right there. So I'm looking forward to that. Of course,
I wonder if they do a little spoof and add Ryan Reynolds in there somewhere.
We'll see what happens. Of course, this is the Fandom Podcast Network. If you're watching us on our YouTube channel, thank you so much. If you're listening to this on the audio version on our audio feed, we appreciate it. Again, we strive to just feed your ears with good podcasts and have a good time around here and talk about the things we love. Of course, if you are watching on YouTube, again, scan that QR code on your screen. It'll take you to our homepage at fpnet.podbean.com, where you can find our entire audio catalog. We're having some fun with that these days. We got some FPNet classics hitting out there. We're going to be continuing to do that, and we've got some great plans ahead for the Fandom Podcast Network. So enjoy the ride with us, guys. You're all invited. And of course, too, you can follow us all over social media, whether it's Facebook, Blue Sky, Twitter, Instagram. You can find us at Fandom Network. You can find us, our fake groups, all of our groups through our shows on Facebook. Kevin, where can people find you on social media?
You can find me at Spartan_Phoenix on all of those socials that you mentioned, including, of course, Discord, as well as Letterboxd. And you can also find me on Facebook as well, Kevin Reitzel.
Kat, where can people find you on social media these days?
Mainly just Facebook, and it's at StaticCat1.
There you go. Guys, a reminder, TeePublic, we've got all the gear of the Fandom Podcast Network there. You can get your True Believers shirt, Kevin's wearing his black version of it, because he is the man in black. All he wears is black. Though there was rumors you wore some different colors in Australia.
Yes, only in Australia.
Yeah, different version of Reitzel, multiverse thing. That's
because they go backwards there.
And of course, you can, as you see, we have shirts, we have mugs, hats, there's backpacks, there's phone cases, everything. tpublic.com, search for the Fandom Podcast Network. You'll find it all there. We appreciate it. It helps keep that Tesseract that Kevin's got over there powered. And, how much power is it used since being in that case, Kevin? Because sometimes it gets a little angry when it's confined.
I'm afraid to open it and find out.
I think that's a wise decision. Just don't let it near the Magic 8 Ball.
Yeah.
Again, guys, thank you so much for joining us for this episode of True Believers. We'll be covering everything that is going on with Daredevil Born Again. It's going to be a fun ride. I cannot wait. Again, thank you guys so much. And remember, as we close out around here, we always just say, Excelsior to all you true believers. And as always, make ours Marvel.